Hello, everybody. This is day 2 of the vlog series. It is September 27th, 2019. Um, I've done a little bit of thinking in the last day, and I was not very organized when I first started this, so now I have an outline, and I am trying to convey certain topics, and we'll see how it goes. Um, First off, I'm going to start off with a little bit about me. Um, I am 34 years old, and I am a the most important thing. I am a Christian. I'm a born again Christian, and uh, I know people are always uh, they always get scared when you talk about religion or faith on YouTube videos, and there's always comments and haters and everything. I don't really care about any of that. I'm My goal is to be as genuine as possible with this vlog, and so it's me. It's just me. So I am a born again Christian. I have been since I was I was raised that way. I was the earliest time I remember accepting the Lord into my life as my Lord and Savior and being born again was right around 4 or 5 years old, right in that range. Um, I'm horrible with dates. I don't remember anything. My wife remembers all of my dates, so um, that's that's the best I can remember that. But I've learned quite a bit in my 30 years since then. Um, I didn't actually become truly born again. I believe I was saved then. I was going to heaven, but I I don't believe I was truly invested and born again into uh, being a child of God until this last year after I had the stroke. And so that's the biggest part of my life that's changed. Um, some other miscellaneous things about me. I'm into a lot of guy stuff, a lot of uh, guns and motorcycles and archery and knives. And before I really focused on using what I have been entrusted with here on this earth for uh, God's oh, so I stutter and mess up a lot and lose my train of thought. Um, I before was not even worried. I was only worried about gaining things and not using those things for God's glory and His plan. It was all about me, and now that has changed. And now what I focus my time and energy on is whatever God wants me to do with the resources that He has entrusted into my care. And so everything like falls into place and becomes a lot less. I don't worry about anything anymore. Um, I'm focused on how I can further God's kingdom and not do things for myself. Um, so um, like every day that I wake up, today's a good day. I am happy. I am. Um, it's hard for me to wake up sometimes. I was a little bit grumpy when I first woke up today, but um, I got through that a lot easier than I normally do, and uh, I am I'm now uh, I am happy to be alive. Um, I'm positive today. I'm gonna make it a daily thing to do these videos, and every day I'm going to tell you whether or not I'm feeling bad or I'm feeling good, or, just how life in general has affected me having a stroke, because I think it's important for people to truly understand what your body and your mind goes through when you have something uh, this important in your life happen. And it's never easy, but I see benefits and I see negatives every day. That's just part of life in general, but um, part of recovering from a stroke or any major health problem is it's really easy to get depressed and be negative and have a very not good outlook on life in general when you have something like this happen to you. And for me, it is very important to, okay, video froze there for some reason, but um, I was talking about how important it is to stay positive, and uh, I wasn't at a point where I could stay positive until um, about 4 months ago. Um, so I mean that's the biggest part of me being able to relay what I'm feeling to other people is hopefully so I can help them. Um, that is my goal, is for you to see my story and know that it's not the end. When you have something this bad happen to you, it's not the end. You can get through it. You can go on with your life. You don't have to worry about ending it or being depressed for the rest of your life or anything. Because, I mean, those are all things that went through my head. And I'm not proud but that it happened, but it's real. It's just, that's what happens when, I mean, I've had everything taken away from me. I worked, I'll describe what job I had and how hard I worked to get to where I was at. But everything was going great and perfectly, and I was successful, and money wise, I successful is a relative term, but um, from all accounts and purposes, or people saw of me was that I was on the fast track. I was doing what was important, what was right. Um, Everything was falling into line, and um, it was just, life was amazing, and life is still amazing, but it is a lot different, a whole lot different, and I learned to appreciate a whole different set of things, and usually people see those things that are important to them as material items. They see success in wealth, in um, things that you can acquire, you know, and a status symbol, or, you know, and now, after having a stroke, if you're smart, you realize that that's not what it's about at all. Um, all the things that matter most to me are not material things. Um, they are people. They are relationships. I mean, first and foremost, like I said before, it is my relationship with God, the one God. Um, and second is my relationship with my wife, and that's huge in my ability to make it. I try to show her how important she is to me every day in a different way, in the same way, and in some way, um, I make sure that she knows that she's the most important person in this whole world to me. and that there's nobody else higher on the list than she is. I'm gonna get back to my outline here. Um, Things that have helped me recover uh, are, well, there's a whole lot. There's a whole lot of medical things. There's a whole lot of people and time and, you know, I don't know. There's a whole lot of things. Um, Let me go over a couple of them that I can think of in my head. I've been to 5. I've been to 5 different recovery hospitals since I had the stroke. And I always thought that people that worked in hospitals were there to fix your problem, whatever it is, whatever injury you have, and then to make you feel comfortable. I learned very quickly that that is not the case. There are a lot of nurses and doctors that only care about keeping you alive so that they don't lose their jobs. That is the main driving factor in the medical field. And I believe I haven't experienced it firsthand in any other country than the United States. But after experiencing it for a year, I I believe that it is a major driving factor to how they do things. And what that comes across as when you're in the hospital as a patient, you start to realize that, or you start to think that people don't actually care about you and how you feel and whether or not you're comfortable. They care about their jobs. And it took me a little while to realize that and to process that in my head. But once I did, I started to notice the people that actually care about their patients and doing it correctly, and they go the extra mile in order to make their patients comfortable, and they actually do. The biggest thing for me, one of the biggest things that annoyed me when I'm in any type of hospital, when a nurse or a doctor comes in and doesn't pay attention to what you're saying and just does what they think will make you better or fix you, and they rush through it, and they're not focused on you as an individual. They're focused on getting through whatever they have to do so they can get to the next patient. That was one of the most annoying things to have to experience when I was in the hospital. And um, so, I mean, that's one thing. And then once you realize how annoying that is, you start to realize, or you start to recognize the people that go above and beyond to do their jobs correctly and make you feel as comfortable as possible. And I can tell you, as soon as I started realizing that, I made sure to thank every single person that did things correctly and that listened before they acted and made sure that they were doing their job to the best of their ability, because that means a whole lot to me. And it's not a requirement, but it definitely is worth thanking somebody for, because I mean, I don't know if you've ever been in the hospital or not, but um, I think about the people that I didn't thank and that were mean to me and that weren't thoughtful. And if I missed a thank you when I was through this whole process, um, it really bothers me. It eats away at my heart because I know that it's worth the thank you. I feel like not a good person, um, which I know is not really a big deal, but how I feel. But I know how much it means to the people that I did thank, and um, I like. I feel that people that realize what they're supposed to do and realize going the extra mile, um, they deserve thanks. They deserve to be recognized, and so that's that's what has helped for the day. Um, Moving on to my list here, I'm going to go to things I'm thankful for. And I kind of touched on it yesterday when I talked about my wife, but I'm thankful for my wife. She has been the best nurse, companion, um, person, helper. She has been the best thing throughout this whole process for me. Um, she has gone above and beyond and done way more than what's been expected of her. There's a difference between doing what you have to and what's expected and doing it with love and doing it because you want to and because you actually here comes the emotions again. Doing it because you care about the person that you married, your significant other or your spouse or whatever title you want to put on it. For us, it's being married and it's being companions, and she is amazing. I know I said it yesterday, but I really can't say it enough. To you guys, to her, to anybody that I come in contact with, she is my world. She is the one of the biggest parts of recovery throughout this whole process, and um, so that's the most important thing I'm thankful for. Um, I am thankful for my company that I worked for, and I'll probably get into that tomorrow. I'll make a note of it, and I'll get into what my company has done for me throughout this whole process. But I'm thankful for my company and for the actions that they decided the way they decided to handle me having a stroke and the way they took care of me and my family. Um, which I'm going to backtrack a little bit here. A little bit more about me. I'm married. I don't have kids. I have um, I have a Chihuahua dog, and I have uh, two snakes and a crested gecko, and that's it. Three reptiles and a dog. Um, and I'll touch on that stuff too in the future. I don't know if you guys are into reptiles or not, but one of my favorite things is sharing different types of animals with people that may be apprehensive or scared or they just don't know about reptiles in general. I am um, One of my favorite things is teaching people about things that they might be scared of so that they can maybe change the way that they view certain things like that. And excuse me, and they can formulate maybe a different point of view on um, why they, maybe they can get a little more comfortable with animals that they may have been scared of for some reason, and they really don't have a reason to be scared of them. I know I've owned 3 snakes in my life so far over the last 2 years, and I've been just overjoyed with them, and I really enjoyed them. And um, maybe I can get to share them with you guys and show you how beautiful they are and how awesome and exotic they are, um, and just how good of pets they are. And we'll get there. So what else am I thankful for? I'm thankful that I still have excuse me. I'm thankful that I still have a house, that God has blessed my family with the ability to still pay my bills. And even though I'm disabled and I'm out of work currently, I am working on other means of income, and I'm not really sure what that's going to be yet. And that's one of the scary things about having a stroke and being disabled is um, I made really good money before I had the stroke. And then I went from that to not knowing what I'm going to do for a career and being really scared whether or not I was going to be able to provide for my family. And I don't know if that's a part of what you're going through, if you're experiencing some type of disability and being out of work, but if you're scared of emotions, if you're scared about how you're going to handle that and how you're going to pay for all the things that you've acquired and bills that you have and loans and all the stuff that comes with being an adult and all the fun stuff, adulting, I would encourage you to not be scared and to I'll share with you guys in the next video about how I've dealt with it and the things that I've thought of that I can do to be able to provide an income without having to actually physically go to work. So we'll touch on that in future videos too. The video is getting a little long right now, so I'm going to sign off for today. But as always, thank you guys for listening, and God bless, and we'll see you on the next one, okay? Bye.